And welcome to Legal Matters, an informational and news call-in show devoted to legal topics of interest to State Line viewers. I'm your host, Alan Jones, and with me is attorney Michael Crosby with the Crosby Law Firm. We have attorneys standing by right now to take your call at the number on your screen, 815-397-2006. They'll be able to provide you with free information on your issue. The call is confidential, so pick up the phone now and call the Crosby Law Firm throughout the next hour. Again, that number, 815-397-2006. Now, our opening statement for this episode of Legal Matters is entitled The Essentials of Bankruptcy and Other Debt Relief Remedies. Especially in this month, I'm sure that's fairly important. And in the second segment, we'll continue our popular You Want to Know question and answer session devoted to questions posed by you, the viewer, through telephone calls and social media. The number 815-397-2006. Lawyers are standing by now to take your confidential call. But before we get started, please note that the Crosby Law Firm represents thousands of individuals just like you. Just as our local hospitals handle a multitude of healthcare issues, the Crosby Law Firm can help you with a multitude of legal care matters as well. So pick up the phone, call now, 815-397-2006. The Crosby Law Firm has a Center for Divorce and Family Law and Injury Department, including but not limited to auto and motorcycle accidents, as well as slip and fall, medical malpractice, workers' compensation, and Social Security disability matters. There's also a Bankruptcy Institute, an office for DUI, traffic and criminal defense, an advanced care plan and probate center, and a division for real estate, business matters, and much more. So again, feel free and call and discuss any of these practice areas with the attorneys standing by. At number 815-397-2006, lawyers are standing by now to take your call, and it is free and confidential. So welcome to the show, Michael. And welcome to a brand new year.
Absolutely. It's a great year, 2017. Looking forward to it.
We're getting to a good start. We're celebrating the new year. We're celebrating a presidential inauguration. Of course, Dr. Martin Luther King this month as well. An exciting month, but it can be a little bit one with trepidation for many people, especially coming up after the holidays, a little credit card debt and things along that line. As we just mentioned, the firm does have a Bankruptcy and Debt Relief Institute. Talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Bankruptcy debt relief is a critical portion of our law practice, and lots of folks coming off the Christmas holidays recently, I'm sure, have incurred some credit card debt. A lot of folks make New Year's resolutions on how to better budget, how to handle their cash flow, their finances, so forth. So discussing this issue, the new month, the new year, is an ideal opportunity for you and I to share with our viewers some of the remedies that are available to them should they need to pursue some kind of debt relief. Mm-hmm. Yeah, glad to be here. Good topic.
All right, we'll get started. You know, we've talked about things like this before. We've talked about Chapter 13 bankruptcy, talked about Chapter 11 or Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Take a few moments and just talk about the two options. What are these two options?
Sure. Chapter 7 bankruptcy, Chapter 13 bankruptcy are the two primary vehicles available to individuals. Remember, this is federal law as well, not state law. With most of these folks who are confronted with sizable debt, perhaps a lot of credit card debt from the holidays, it's somewhat of a catch-22. They're concerned about how on earth can they make their minimum credit card payments. So if they're examining a bankruptcy, how on earth can they take care of the legal fees and the costs related to it? I want to emphasize, particularly at the start of the new year when folks are trying to get things in order, if you give us a call, our initial consultation, our way of reaching out to the community, part of the Crosby Law Firm initiative, we provide a free in-person consultation. And on many of these cases that we take, if the folks aren't able to secure the fees up front to pay us, we'll structure a payment plan with them. So I want everybody to know that, and I want everybody to get off to a good start with the new year. Chapter 7 versus Chapter 13 frequently is all about whether you own a home and whether you have significant equity in your home. If you own a home and you have significant equity, we'll take a look at discharging the unsecured debt, credit card debt, and at the same time protect the home by way of a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. If you don't have a lot of home equity, don't own a home, then we're going to take a look at a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Both are available to individuals. Both, again, it's federal law.
Okay, so if you have substantial equity in your house, then 13 is more amenable to you.
Generally, that's exactly the right approach. You want to try to save your home, protect your equity, so forth. Sometimes, for a variety of reasons, you may not want to save the home if you just can't service the monthly debt payment, the mortgage payment, because you've lost a job. But as a general rule, home equity, try to save the home, Chapter 13. No home equity or you're a renter, then we're going to take a look at a Chapter 7.
Okay, good advice. Good way to start the new year.
Sure.
Right off the bat. So again, that number to call is 815-397-2006. Call right now. Attorneys are standing by. And stay tuned for our rapid fire You Want to Know question and answer segment coming up right after the break. And welcome back, everyone. It's time for our rapid fire question and answer segment called You Want to Know. In an effort to protect viewer confidentiality, understand that we only use first names. We may alter the location and the nature of the question somewhat. I'd like to remind you that lawyers are standing by to take your call no matter what the topic. So pick up the phone and call now, 815-397-2006. So Michael, here's our first question for you. Comes from Jane in Rockford. She says, our family survived another Christmas, another New Year. And while we enjoyed the holidays, my husband and I are now confronted with a lot of credit card debt. We're trying to figure out what to do next. We just talked about this in our first segment. If we can't afford our credit card payments, how on earth can we afford to hire a lawyer?
You're right. We just did discuss this in the first segment. The answer to your question, Jane, many of our bankruptcy clients, debt relief clients, were happy to sit down and structure a payment plan to take care of the legal fees and the expenses. Do not despair. We don't have debtor's prison, Alan, in America. Bankruptcy is a federal law passed by Congress, signed by the President of the United States, designed to give relief to folks who have credit card debt, outstanding medical debt, perhaps in a house foreclosure matter. So we'll be happy to take a look at a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. And please, Jane, remember, as part of our law firm initiative, that initial consultation is free of charge.
All right. On to number 2, from Sally in Roscoe. Last year, my husband and I struggled a lot with our marriage. She said she was hoping the holidays would enable us to work things out. But frankly, it was a rather stressful time. And with the new year upon me, I'm thinking that a divorce for the kids and I will be better. Does the Crosby Law Firm handle divorce work, and how much will it cost me?
Good question. Christmas, New Year's can be a stressful time for families. I would encourage you to give us a call. We do a lot of divorce work, a lot of family law work in our office. We try to focus on protecting our client and the children involved. The costs vary. Are we talking about a 30-year marriage where there's substantial debt, substantial assets? Are we talking about a 10-year marriage where there may not be much assets or debts, but there might be little kids, little children, and so we have custody issues and visitation issues and child support issues? So in our office, we charge a flat fee for our matrimonial work, our divorce work. Many lawyers in our community charge by the hour. So a 5-minute phone call, you're going to get a bill with some other law firms. A 2-paragraph letter, you may get a bill with some other law firms. In our office, it's a flat charge. I don't know what the budget will be for your particular divorce, ma'am. Give us a call. Come on in for the free consultation. I'll sort through your issues, diagnose the problems, analyze your case, help you develop a plan that hopefully will minimize stress to your family and minimize the budgetary constraints as well. So we charge a flat fee, and that first consultation is free of charge.
Okay, so you know where you're beginning.
Exactly.
Where you're beginning.
Yes.
Next question from Richard in Rockford. Over the holidays, one of my relatives got a little carried away and was arrested for a DUI. The first court date's coming up soon. What do we do next, and can you help me?
Yes, we have a department for criminal and traffic work, and of course, right after the holiday season, unfortunately, the DUI portion of our practice does pick up. If this is this individual's first DUI, we may be able to negotiate what's commonly referred to as court supervision, maybe some methods and remedies available that can secure some kind of a driving privilege for him. Typically with a DUI arrest, there's what's called a statutory summary suspension that occurs 46 days from the date of notice, which is typically the date of the arrest. But just as the previous caller, I'd encourage this person to give us a call. The initial consultation is free of charge. A DUI is a serious matter. Mothers Against Drunk Drivers promote big time that our law enforcement community should be very strict in these matters to save lives. So we get that. But we also get that a driving privilege is an important thing in most families for purposes of jobs, etc. So give us a call. Come on in. By all means, do not go to court your first time without the benefit of a lawyer. That would be like having cancer, Alan, and not visiting with the oncologist. So it's a serious matter, does require competent legal representation.
All right, take it seriously.
Yes, absolutely.
Next question from Julie in Byron. Over Christmas break, we were in an auto accident caused by another driver. My husband broke his left arm. I suffered a concussion and broken nose. Other fellow had insurance, but we're not sure if his policy will cover all of the expenses. How should we proceed with this?
This is an area of law that we devote a lot of time to. This is an area of law where we only get paid if there's a recovery for the client, for the individual that was injured. If they're concerned here about insurance coverage with the would-be defendant, I get that you were the victim of the accident. We'll take a look at how much insurance liability coverage the defendant has here. We'll take a look on whether our client's insurance policy has what's called an uninsured or underinsured coverage. So there's lots of remedies available here, lots of avenues to pursue. Fortunately for this couple, there were no quadriplegic, paraplegic, nobody died in the accident, but it does sound like serious injuries with facial, broken nose, broken arm, so forth. So I'd encourage you to give us a call. Be happy to sit and talk with you about this.
Certainly stop by.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And don't forget, lawyers are standing by for another half hour after the show airs. The number to call, 815-397-2006. All the time we have with Crosby Law Firm. Legal Matters continues with Mark Brynteson and the American Law Firm after a break. And welcome back to Legal Matters. I'm your host, Alan Jones. With me now is Mark Brynteson, the managing attorney with the American Law Firm. This is a half-hour informational news call-in show devoted to a variety of legal topics. We have attorneys standing by now to take your call at the number on your screen at 815-394-1776. They'll provide you with free information on your issue. The call is confidential, so pick up the phone now and call the American Law Firm throughout the next hour. Again, the number is 815-394-1776. And our opening statement in our first segment, we'll be discussing your own personal injury car accident settlement, some pitfalls and what to do and not to do. But first, let's remind you of the multiple practice areas of the American Law Firm. The American Law Firm can assist you in a variety of legal matters, such as divorce and family law, bankruptcy, personal injury claims, criminal traffic and DUI issues, wills, trust and probate matters, real estate and business transactions, and more. So again, feel free to call and discuss any of these practice areas with the attorney standing by. That number on your screen, 815-394-1776. Attorneys are standing by now to take your call. Again, the call is confidential, so call now. Mark, good to see you again as usual.
You too, Alan.
It's always very informational, the kind of stuff you bring to us on this program. A little bit of background. You've written a book, 32 Quick Tips for Handling Your Own Illinois Personal Injury Car Accident Settlement. Some people will be surprised to know that you can do such a thing. But tell us a little bit of background as to why you wrote this and why it's important that people have this information.
Well, number one, a lot of people don't realize what's involved in a personal injury case, even in the settlement phase. And a lot of people, we call it the do-it-yourself, or want to try it on their own. There are some cases that are appropriate for somebody to handle on their own. But if you do, regardless if it's $1 million case or a $3,000 case, the components to settling it are the same. The process is the same. And I want people to know and understand that claims process. I also want them to understand everything that's involved. There's a lot of I's to dot, T's to cross in settling a personal injury claim. And I want people to understand that, so if they do venture out and try it on their own, at least they have some background, some fund of knowledge that is going to help them pursue the best settlement they can. And if they get in too deep, come and see an attorney and let the attorney help them.
So once someone goes through the process or begins the process, it's never too late to include an attorney.
Never. And I can't tell you how many people, and I've said before in this program, there are certain cases that the value does not warrant an attorney's involvement. But I'll sit down with the client and tell them, this is the claims process, this is how you put it together, this is what you need to watch out for. But most claims will, especially if they're over that threshold, an attorney is going to help you and put more money in your pocket. But an attorney will also help you and put more money in your pocket if you're below that threshold, if you go and talk with them about what's the claims process, what's involved, what's the value of my case.
So it's always worth the free consultation.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we'll continue on. We've done this for a couple of shows now, and this is really informational and quite surprising in some issues, to be honest with you. But you say review the ERISA, which is the Employee Retirement Income Security Act of '74. See if your insurance company is entitled to be repaid out of your recovery, even though we have said that they will be repaid out of it. So now there's a little bit of a gray area?
Well, what we've talked about in the past is if your health insurance, if your employer created their benefits program, including health insurance under state law, then you have things you can do to negotiate the amount of the lien that you have to pay them back. In other words, if they pay $20,000, they're going to want to be paid back some of that $20,000. You may only have to pay them back $15,000, which means that difference between 15 and 20 goes in your pocket. Mm-hmm. State law, called the Attorney Common Fund Doctrine, if you have an attorney working for you, just by virtue of the attorney being involved in creating the settlement proceeds, the common fund that everybody's paid out of, a state-governed benefits program has to respect that common fund and reduce it. Now, federal law, ERISA, they don't have to. If your company creates their benefits program under the ERISA law, federal law, they don't have to reduce what they take by 1 cent, and they generally don't.
So they'll take what they're due.
Yep. State law is bad, federal law is worse.
Okay. So know which you have to know which one you're working with.
Here's what will happen. If you settle a case and you're doing it on your own, and your health insurance company is an ERISA form benefit plan by your employer, if you get that settlement and you don't tell them about it, and then they come knocking at your door 2 years later saying, we want our money, we want what we paid out, you've spent it, they're still going to want it, they can sue you, get a judgment, ruin your credit. So you have to know how to play this lien subrogation game. Okay.
So how do they find out? Just ask?
The insurance companies are very good at communicating with each other. For instance, if the guy's insurance company, the bad guy's insurance company hits you and causes the damage, they're going to pay out, they'll call up brother insurance company and say, hey, we're paying out. Why? Well, if you have medical payments coverage on your automobile insurance, you get reimbursed back. Well, the bad guy's insurance company, at some point in time down the road, the other company on the other side is going to be in the same ball game, so they want them to call them and say, hey, we're settling, make sure you get your cut. So this time they're paying out, but they call the other carrier and say, we're settling, make sure you get your cut. So they're all playing the game behind the scene.
Okay.
And think about that.
So they're kind of like collaborating with each other
yes.
while you're out here on your own.
That's
to a certain
exactly right.
Okay. It's a little frightening, but that's the way it works out, I guess, isn't it?
That's what you're dealing with.
Okay. All right. We'll take a break. Lawyers standing by for another half hour after the show airs. The number to call, 815-394-1776. We'll be back with more with Mark Brynteson and the American Law Firm in just a moment. And welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Alan Jones. With me is attorney Mark Brynteson with the American Law Firm. And you're watching Legal Matters, an informational and news call-in show devoted to a variety of legal topics. Attorneys are standing by now to take your call. The number on your screen, 815-394-1776. They'll provide you with free information, and the call is confidential. So pick up the phone now and call the American Law Firm throughout the next hour. Again, 815-394-1776. We've been talking with Mark about settling your own Illinois personal injury car accident, and a lot of good ideas in a book that he's written, 32 quick tips for handling your own Illinois personal injury car accident settlement. In the last break, the last segment, we were talking about insurance companies working together to make sure they get their cuts and all that. But it's not just insurance money that's available out there. You're talking workers' compensation and also disability payments. Things along that line are open to be repaid as well.
Absolutely. It's what people don't understand is the insurance companies from my perspective is a racket. I don't care if it's health, your automobile insurance company, if it's workers' comp through your employer. If your injury is because somebody else was negligent, they were careless, and they caused your injury, then insurance companies can have the right to be paid back out of the settlement that you get for the monies that they've paid in your behalf for any reason, because if it was from your injury. Mm-hmm. It could be lost wages. Let's say your company has a disability program. You're in a bad car accident and you're out of work for 6 months and you're getting disability payments. People say this is great. Yeah, it's great until you settle, and they're sitting there knocking on your door and they say, we want to take a big portion of your settlement as reimbursement for paying out for that disability. Now, if you were just hurt at work and there was no negligence, wouldn't happen. But insurance companies, and I call it the big Ponzi scheme, is they've found a way to reimburse themselves behind the scenes and you never see it. I don't like it, but it's the way it is. Illinois allows it. Texas, Virginia, and other states don't. I think Illinois needs to get on the bandwagon and pass laws that companies should not be enriched because of your pain and suffering. Mm-hmm. Period.
Now, I think probably a lot of people go to court, they get a settlement, and they're looking at that as a gift. I was injured, I deserve this, this is my prize.
This is my pain and suffering.
This is my pain and suffering right here, but from what you say, it sounds more like this is a loan that you're going to have to pay back.
It's your pain and suffering, but people are benefiting from your pain and suffering other than you.
Yeah.
Let's say, for instance, after you pay attorney's fees, you've paid all your doctors, etc., and you have $100,000 left in your pocket. Then you have $75,000 in liens you have to pay back to your health insurer. Maybe there's a workers' comp, your medical payments coverage from your auto policy, and then you're left with $25,000. These insurance companies benefited to the extent of, under that example, to $75,000 of your pain and suffering. They cannibalized, they leached off your pain and suffering money.
Mm-hmm. They pay it, but they do get a chunk back.
Well, think
it's a loan.
Well, think about it. It is. Think about it. if you're paying a premium to your health insurer to pay those bills for treatment you received because of an injury in an auto accident,
Yeah.
why do you have to pay them back? It's like, why did you have the coverage? Because you really didn't get anything for your premium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're paying for that. You have to pay it back. The things we learn. Learning a lot here. It says, don't overtreat. Insurance companies for bad guys hate overtreatment. They won't pay for it. Overtreat medical treatment, I'm assuming.
Well, what'll happen sometimes is somebody's injured in an accident, and it wasn't a bad accident, but they know the more medical bills they have, the greater the recovery, theoretically. The issue is what's in the medical records has to back up your injury. And a lot of people just keep going, and the doc says, I don't see anything, and they think if I just keep going back and they document, I go back, that it's going to increase the value of the claim. No. There comes a time when you're healed, and when you're healed, you shouldn't get any more treatment. If you try to force more treatment into the record and you don't require it and the doc won't back it up, you may be sitting out there with $5,000 in medical bills that you can't claim as part of the personal injury because your doctor will say they're not related to your injury.
To the injury, yeah.
So
get done what it needs to be done.
Yes.
But don't push it.
Don't push it.
All right. Good information as usual, Mark Brynteson. Thank you very much for your time. Once again, lawyers from the American Law Firm are standing by now to take your call, no matter the topic. The advice is free. 815-394-1776. Lawyers will be taking calls for another half hour after the airing of the show. We'll be back with a closing statement when Legal Matters returns in a moment.
Legal Matters has been brought to you by the Crosby Law Firm and American Law Firm.
Let me close by encouraging you to pick up the phone and call the attorneys standing by. And because of the high volume of calls, attorneys from the American Law Firm and the Crosby Law Firm will be taking calls for about another half hour after the show ends. So if you do get a busy signal or you go to voicemail, keep trying or just leave a message. Someone from either law firm will return your call the following business day. And for those viewers who may not need the assistance of an attorney just yet, visit the Crosby Law Firm or American Law Firm websites with any suggestions you may have regarding subjects of interest to you, and to view all the past episodes of Legal Matters. You can also find them both on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for watching Legal Matters. We hope you found it informative.